Hi, and welcome back to the gray area. I'm going to go live if people chime in. They chime in. If they don't chime in, then this is just going to be promoted and broadcast later. So we shall see how this goes. This podcast is brought to you by FreakNet Studios, a conglomerate of 3 podcasts. Just Freaking Wrestling, This Freaking Show, and Hello, You're Here. So the gray area. Sponsored by ballwash.com. When it comes to your sack, they got your back. Men, your hygiene matters. And if you don't want to smell like your mom's douche, I suggest you maybe go to ballwash.com and get things that smell like a man should. When it comes to the quickie wipes, when you can't take a shower, the ball wash, the good head shampoo and conditioner. They have boxers, so you know they're official. And my personal favorite, the solid colognes. These things last longer, they smell great, and you don't have to freaking refill them every 2 months because you like to spritz your nuts all the fucking time. But if you like to spritz your nuts, they have the sack spray, because when it comes to bacteria and odors, when girls unbutton your fly and take your pants off, you want them to blow you, right? You don't want them to be like, okay, I've come this far and I'm taking my pants off, and then all of a sudden they get a whiff of whatever the fuck because you worked all day and you didn't take a shower yet and you didn't use the quickie wipes, so you didn't use the sack spray either. It neutralizes all bacteria. And boys be big now, especially with the Corona 15, right? Everybody's gained like 15 fucking pounds. They have the Ball Guard, which is a chafing lotion. It goes on like a lotion, dries like a powder, and leaves 0 residue. So if you want to take care of your hygiene needs, men or women, that's cool. If you want to smell like a dude, that's fine. I ain't judging. Go to ballwash.com, fill your cat's up, and when you're checking out, use code DAGRAYAREA, DAGRAYAREA, and you will get 15% off your order and your purchase. So moving forward, how's everyone doing? Apparently everybody on the planet's got Corona. This isn't dying. This isn't going away. But I have an idea when it comes to the domino effect of this. And my delinquents out there, my delinquent army that I love so much, because I love you and you love me, I understand what you're thinking. You're like, Sarge, you've been on politics forever. But this is, trickling down to society. I am society-based. I'm a society-based podcast. I want to talk about, life and love and happiness and jobs and family and friendship and shit like that. But due to Corona and everything that's trickled down from it, society is obviously, affected based on that. So it's hard to talk about, how's everyone's relationships going? Because no one's having relationships, especially not new ones, unless they're video chatting, because you don't want to meet a complete stranger, because 1, there's nowhere to go because everything's fucking closed, and 2, everything's fucking closed. What are you going to do? Are you going to Skype? Are you going to video chat people? Are you going to fall for the catfishes where they're just showing their shoulders up, and then all of a sudden you're like, whoa, she looked 115 pounds, but she's obviously 215 pounds, and she's like 5'3". Okay, yeah, it's a tricky world that we live in right now. It's a tricky world, but we need to deal with this election year. We need to get to November 3rd. We need to elect what we need to elect. We need to take cancel culture and kick it in its fucking ass. We need to take the Black Lives Matter organization and the Antifa crowd and be like, hey, fuck you. We need to put more fucking cops on the street. We don't need to defund the police. We need to defend the police. Meanwhile, Joe Biden's dead bitch ass is still in his basement saying exactly what people tell him to say. And whenever he's doing promotional shit at a public school or a forum or a press conference, he's not taking any questions because his team doesn't want him answering any fucking questions. Hollywood's worried about racism. But Hollywood needs to worry about their pedophilia Pizzagate ass, Jeffrey Epstein, and all the higher-ups. You think fucking Weinstein was the fucking end of the iceberg? No, he was the tip. Okay? So there's a lot of people out there that got to get thrown under the bus. Ghislaine, whatever her name is, Ghislaine. Ghislaine. Her name might have been Ghislaine. You'd be like, my name's actually Glenn, but you could call me Ghislaine based on what I'm going to do to you because Jeffrey's going to rape you. When it comes to that, we need to keep her alive, so hopefully she could throw all the Hollywood elites under the bus because I guarantee you, no one is covering her. Why? Because she's not dead yet. When she's dead, people are going to cover that. Things that need to be covered that are not being covered are Trump, for instance, today. He signed an executive order making prescription diabetes insulin shots cheaper. Like they're pennies compared to what they used to be. And these pharma corporations used to upsell their shit, knowing that the demand was high. So their supply could be as much as they wanted to, but knowing that the demand was high because people have diabetes and they need insulin shots, people take advantage of it. So what costs, $5 to $15 to make, they're selling $300 a shot. Now, Trump is like, you know what? Fuck that. So whatever deal that he made with pharma, good for him, because there are, hundreds of thousands of people with diabetes that need this shot. And insurance only covers so much. So the fact that it's cheaper, good on him. I was looking at the other live episodes that are going on right now, and I am just surrounded by Jesus freaks. And that's cool, but I think the thing that's going to beat God in a time like this is common sense, which we don't fucking have right now. We need to give common sense to the ignorant, because apparently everything that is happening right now is the government's fault. And meanwhile, Joe Biden's just sitting there in his fucking recliner like, oh, this is fine. Everything's going to be fine. I could just sit back, watch the fucking world burn, and it's going to be Trump's fault, and I have nothing to fucking worry about when November 3rd comes around. Everyone's going to vote for me because they want change. It's not going to happen. You think fucking Obama's little bitch is going to make anything fucking better? It's not. It's definitely not. This guy hasn't had an original thought since 1994, and when he did that, he threw black people under the bus and people of color when it came to the Criminal Reform Act. So based on that knowledge, the dude's a sociopath. He's a fucking liar. He's been lying since the 80s. He's been in Congress or government for damn near 50 years, and everything's fucking Trump's fault. Schumer. Between Schumer, Pelosi, and Joe Biden, they have been in the government for over 125 years, and Trump's been in for 3.5, and it's his fault? Come on, people. I don't know what fucking news you're watching, but this is common sense. We need to know better. The reason everyone's attacking him, doing these investigations, these probes, throwing him under a fucking bus is because they are scared shitless because he cannot be bought and paid for. This is key. This is very fucking important stuff. What else happened? Regis Philbin fucking died yesterday, July 24th. So rest in peace. Lots of people have fucking died. Holly Preston died. Charlie Daniels died. I don't know if they were just like, you know what, fuck it, just put me out of my fucking misery because 2020 is fucking garbage. If 2020 ends with Betty White dying, I quit fucking life because she needs to fucking stand strong and stay alive. That's what I'm saying. It's very important. So, like I said, I'm up against. Let's see who we're up against, shall we? In the live broadcasts. Okay, so we are in Black History segments. The other ground live. That's a Jesus freak. That's a Jesus freak. It's fucking game night, which is cool. That's a Jesus freak. That's a Jesus freak. And there's a picture of a dog. Tall tales from the rabbit. In the rabbit. I don't know what that is. I would like to chime in. I like to do that every now and then. I like to go. God, I'm going off on tangents. I like to, like when I'm driving, I got long road trips and stuff. I like to chime in on people's lives. I like to just jump in. And based on my follower count, they see that I'm a verified podcast. They see that I have, a lot of downloaded episodes. They're like, holy shit, the gray area. If you want to chime in, I'm like, I'm so humbled. It's really fucking, humbling to see, these podcasts going live and talking about this, that, or the other thing. And I'm just chiming in randomly, whether it's, race, religion, gender, sexual preference based or whatever, or psychedelic based. I was listening to one of those yesterday talking about weed. and Bob Marley, and that was really cool, and mushrooms and LSD and acid and all that stuff. So they see me and they're like, hey, if you want to chime in, and I'm like, what? I'm just listening, and when you're on the air, when you're doing live stuff, they see who's listening. They're sort of like, they see that you're verified, and then they go to your page and like, oh shit, you might have a little clout, and they're like, hey, call in, and I don't have the headphone microphone thing because a dog ate it. So eventually, though, I'll be on there and I'll be able to chime in whenever the fuck I want. So that'll be cool. How's everybody's life going? Are we still worried about like school? Apparently schools aren't going to open. It's a whole giant domino effect. This whole coronavirus, the second wave, it's happening in Japan. The cases are up. Everyone's talking about how high the cases are, and the cases have reached over blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but have the deaths gone up? No, they haven't. Are the hospitals overcrowded? No, they're not. Are governors not getting what they're asking for from the federal government? No, they are not. In my fucking personal opinion, Donald Trump needs to do a fucking advertisement or a rally ad or some sort of fucking commercial where he's just like says absolutely fuck all. And it just shows governors from Illinois, New York, fucking California, Connecticut, Massachusetts saying, yeah, we got what we need. 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 And then just end it with, I'm Donald Trump and I approve this message. Because everyone's getting exactly what they need from the government, but all of a sudden it's Trump's fault. How is that fucking accurate to fucking anyone on the planet right now? And the way I see it, it's a domino effect where it's coronavirus this, coronavirus that. We need to quarantine. We need to shut down. We need to lock down. And if you lock down, then there's no schools. And if there's no schools, then parents can't work. And if the parents can't work, then, unemployment is up. The kids are at home. Who's going to watch the kids? Obviously, the parents need to stay home. So unemployment's got to go up, right? And if unemployment's up, then it just fucking looks bad. It looks fucking ridiculous. And if unemployment's up, that means people aren't working, which means the economy fucking sucks ass, which means stock market fucking crashes and falls and goes into a recession. And whose fault is that? Donald Trump's fault for some reason? That doesn't make any sense to me. He's offering help. For instance, he's offering help to Chicago, New York City, LA, even Kentucky, Connecticut, Massachusetts, St. Louis, Seattle. And all these mayors, I'm not even going to say what side of the aisle they sit on, because you automatically know, you already know. And you're like, no, we don't need federal troops here. They're not fucking troops. These aren't troops. They're federal law enforcement that that the government is offering to send and lend a hand in these major cities. They're already there. The FBI, the ATF, the DEA, all these federal agencies are already in these cities. There's offices in these cities. And everyone's looking at Portland like, Trump is being a fascist dictating piece of shit. This is military law. This isn't, you can't do that. First of all, when you're setting a federal building on fire under the guise of protesting, then you're not protesting anymore, are you? That's a crime. That's a fucking felony. You're setting shit on fire. You're burning shit to the ground. You're attacking police officers, and you're calling it protesting. You need to fucking sit down and shut up. There is a big fucking line between the timeout generation and the generation that got their fucking ass kicked. Because I guarantee you, the generation that got their fucking ass kicked is not on the streets right now with shaved PVC sharpened pipes stabbing police officers or throwing frozen water bottles at police officers. This is bullshit. Look up this code. Ready? Time out. Here we go. Write this down. 40 USC 1315. It is a code. It's a statute or a United States code where it's granted by the United States And let me read it to you. You know what? Fuck this. I'm going to read it verbatim. Here we go. 40 U.S.C. 1315, Law Enforcement Authority of Secretary of Homeland Security for Protection of Public Property. All right, here we go. In general, to the extent provided for by transfers made pursuant to the Homeland Security Act of 2002, the Secretary of Homeland Security, in this section referred to as Secretary, shall protect the buildings, grounds, and property that are owned, occupied, or secured by the federal government, including any agency, instrumentally or wholly owned or mixed ownership corporation thereof, and persons on the property. We're allowed to protect those federal buildings. So, Portland, if your mayor is not going to take your police officers and protect the buildings, the government is allowed to protect their federal buildings. Moving forward, officers and agents, the designations of officers and agents. Here we go. The Secretary may designate employees of the Department of Homeland Security, including employees transferred to the department from the Office of the Federal Protective Service of the General Services Administration pursuant to Homeland Security Act 2002 as officers and agents for duty in connection with the protection of property owned or occupied by the federal government and persons on the property, including duty in areas outside the property to the extent necessary to protect the property and persons on the property. So when these motherfuckers are saying troops are coming in unmarked vans, they're not wearing designation on their uniforms, they're just taking people off the street. Yeah, we're allowed to protect the building. We're also allowed to protect the area around the building. And if we seem fit that these people down the street 2 blocks from this federal building are armoring up to fucking set fire to a federal building, we're allowed to go down there, grab their ass, and throw them in a fucking van. Because obviously their intentions probably aren't good. Why? Because it's 2 o'clock in the morning. People need sleep. You're not protesting, and there's 3 of you. Okay? So shut the fuck up when it comes to all this. It's just protesting. And they're mostly peaceful. What does mostly peaceful mean? O.J. Simpson was mostly peaceful before he killed his fucking wife. Jeffrey Dahmer is mostly peaceful all day when he meets these fucking guys at bars and comes off as a fucking beta bitch. And these guys are like, oh my God, I'm going to go back to this guy's house. I'm going to rail him in the ass. And then right when the door closes, that mostly peaceful thing ends for about 5 minutes. And then the next morning, Dahmer's having people omelets. Okay, so that's bullshit. Okay, that mostly peaceful. What the fuck does that mean? That's the most overrated term I've ever heard in my life. I could be mostly peaceful my whole life, but if I kill someone, I'm going to prison for life. So you could take that mostly peaceful slang phrase and just shove it up your ass. Now, back to the statute. Powers. While engaged in the performance of official duties, an officer or agent designated under this subsection may enforce federal laws and regulations for the protection or persons and property, carry firearms, make arrests without a warrant for any offense against the United States committed in the presence or the officer or agent, or for any felony cognizable under the laws of the United States if the officer or agent has reasonable grounds to believe that the person to be arrested has committed or committing a felony. So if you're lighting the fucking building on fire, attacking an agent, sharpening PVC pipes, or throwing frozen water bottles, these agents can grab your ass and put you in federal prison. And by the way, this is federal prison, dumbasses. This isn't New York or Chicago, where there's no bail, where they're just like, oh, we're going to take you in and some fingerprints and you can go. Commit more felonies. Be free. This is federal prison. You're going away for fucking years. You're definitely going to reconsider your ideals when it comes to you sitting on a fucking bench. I was doing this for freedom. No, you weren't. You weren't doing this for freedom. You were doing this for anarchy, and freedom kicked your fucking ass. Like I said, if you give the cuck a constitution, they're going to ask for more and more and more. Bill de Blasio defunded the fucking police, $1 billion. Okay, good for him. He took plainclothes officers off the street in the NYPD. How did that turn out? Did violence go down or did it go up? I'll let you guys Google it, and I'm going to give you the answer. It went up. It's fucking common sense. It went up like 900 fucking percent. NYPD is a fucking shithole. NYPD is 2.5 times the size of fucking Chicago. And if you think that's bad, Chicago just killed 15 people in broad daylight last Friday. What the fuck is going on? This is what happens when these police officers report to a fucking mayor. God forbid the mayor would do the right thing and put more police officers off the street, defend the police officers, fucking defend the blue line. No, they're going, Democratic mayors are going to pull these cops off the street because these officers report to the chief of police. The chief of police of these cities report to the mayor. This isn't like a sheriff or a deputy or someone who's fucking elected that reports to the Constitution of the United States. These cops report to the mayor. And when this mayor says, pull back, you get Chaz, you get fucking Chop, you get fucking cops getting beaten up in fucking Chicago. You get federal buildings getting burnt down because there's no cops. And then when Trump wants to send in federal agents to protect federal buildings, that's the Gestapo. Listen, motherfuckers, as part of the tribe, I am part of the tribe, the 12 tribes of Israel. I am a Jew. Do not correlate the Gestapo, Nazi Germany, Gestapo, with these fucking federal agents that are trying to protect federal property, you fucking cucks. Okay? It's dumb. Let's keep going. They're also allowed to serve warrants and subpoenas issued under the authority under the United States, conduct investigations on or off the property in question of offenses that may have been committed against property owned or occupied by the federal government or persons on the property, and carry out such other activities for the promotion of homeland security as the secretary may prescribe. So all you people saying this is fascism, he's just making shit up, this is military law, it's written and it's been fucking alive since 2002. Okay? Why 2002? I don't know. You guys remember 2001? You remember 9/11? We're allowed to fucking protect. Oh, but those were Muslims acting outside of... No. As a soldier's creed, let me tell you something. I promise to protect my country against all enemies, foreign and domestic. This would be domestic. It's only a matter of time before the blue line is reinforced, militias come up in arms, and we start beating the shit out of these people that are throwing temper tantrums. These kids that have finally grown up to be adults that threw temper tantrums because their parents that want to beat their ass. Where? Just give him what he wants. Just give him what he wants, and maybe he'll shut up. Did those kids ever shut up? Put him in a timeout. Did that shit fucking work? I got my fucking ass kicked, and look at me. I'm a well-disciplined fucking common sense person. I am open to the ideals of the left, but the left has gone so far to the left. You're damn near socialist. You're Karl Marx. You're fucking Stalin. All right? If you want freedom to live in this country, I suggest you fucking open your eyes and stop thinking about George Floyd and BLM. No one is arguing with what happened to George Floyd being bad. We all know that was bad. That was fucking horrible. No one is arguing that George Floyd deserved it, okay? Those cops need to be fucking prosecuted the fucking right way. But now that's stemmed into a fucking downfall domino effect of complete bullshit, and now it's become fucking political. How did George Floyd become a political fucking scheme for the left and the right to fight about when it comes to everything else? George Floyd has to do with Corona now. It has to do with schools being closed. It has to go with defunding the police. It has to go with cancel culture. This isn't about civil rights anymore. This isn't about that. And George Floyd should be turning over in his fucking grave because this is a fucking disgrace. The organization of Black Lives Matter is neo-Marxist. And I'm not making that shit up. They already said that. Look at the manifesto. Look at the Communist Manifesto and compare that to the BLM movement like label, the fist. This isn't like the Black Panther fist. This is the Communist Manifesto neo-Marxist fist. Do the fucking math, people. I'm trying to help you out here. I can only do so much. Pardon me while I partake in a booze or something right now. I just talked for fucking 25 minutes. And this is ridiculous. We could do better than this. I hope the silent majority is just sitting there hoping and praying that they don't have to fucking go into their gun safes and start shooting motherfuckers in the fucking face. Because we do not want the patriots to come out, the combat vets to come out, the Republicans or the common sense or even Democrats to come out and be like, what you're doing is fucking wrong. You can't attack fucking police officers. You can't cancel culture. You can't pull down a fucking statue just because you feel like he was a bad, bad man. Columbus came here. Was he a bad man? Yeah. But he granted fucking Western civilization over to this country. What about the Native Americans? Do you understand that the Native Americans used to slave their own kind? There was tribal warfare there. Native Americans fought against themselves before we even showed up. Even while we were here, they fought against themselves. And what did they do with the people that they caught? They either killed them, raped them, adopted them, or enslaved them. This isn't a Western ideal. This is the history of humankind. It's called fucking conquest. We are not that America. I mean, the America of today is not the America of 1775. Or if you want to go into the 1619 project, everyone's like, America's been bad since 1619. Newsflash, motherfuckers. America wasn't America in 1619. Do you understand? The America of today is not the America of then. And you guys saying that there's systematic racism since 1619 for the past fucking 400 years or whatever, you cancel out the American Revolution, you cancel out the Declaration of Independence, you cancel out the Civil War, Jim Crow laws, and the Civil Rights Movement with Malcolm X, Rosa Parks, and Martin Luther King. And you also cancel out the freedoms that you are granted today. If we are as racist as everybody thinks we are, Ilhan Omar, Rashida Tlaib, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, they wouldn't be elected. Also, if we were so racist with our KKK asses wearing hoods all the time when we go to the fucking polls to vote because you guys are dumb as shit, Obama wouldn't have been elected. Also, he wouldn't have been reelected. And coming from my mindscape, in my trials and tribulations and history and what I know about anything, Obama was quite possibly the most corrupt fucking president in the last 50 years. And you guys got to say that fucking Trump is the most racist president. He's the first racist president to ever be elected. Do you guys know Thomas Jefferson just raped slaves once upon a time? Apparently. Lyndon B. Johnson his language was up there. Nixon, his language was up there. Everyone's like, we need to take Washington and all the slave owners off of there. They don't need to deserve any monuments or memorials or anything. That's how life was back then. Life is not there now. Can we not judge George Washington and the forefathers because they may or may not have owned slaves once upon a time? The first 12 presidents of the United States owned slaves, minus John Adams and John Quincy Adams. They didn't have slaves. It's the way of the world. It's conquest. It's fucking imperialism. It's Western culture. Western culture was brought to our shores and we fucking canceled it out. Civil War canceled it out. Civil Rights Movement canceled it out. So all you people saying that we're systematically racist ever since fucking 1619 could suck a dick and die on it because you could choke on it. Seriously, this is bullshit. Like there are plenty of people. White privilege. Oh, okay. Is Barack Obama's fucking kids not privileged? Is Oprah not privileged? Are every fucking NBA player of color not privileged right now? Is LeBron James ignorant, dumb fucking ass not privileged? T.I. who wants reparations? Ice Cube who wants reparations? They could say whatever the fuck they want because they're free to say so. And they're they're people of color. You think you could say that shit in fucking 1920 and still be here? No, because Jim Crow would have fucked you up. Segregation would have fucked you up. And now we've fast forwarded to this time where we have the ignorant white woke people bending the knee, wearing kente cloths, and like, we're so sorry. We're so sorry. You know what? It's too late. It's too late. You make a brother wait, but now it's too late. My peanut butter chocolate cake with Kool-Aid. These woke white motherfuckers have no idea what the fuck I just referenced. They feel so bad because they have no idea of black culture. They have no idea how deep American culture is seated in black culture. They're so ignorant to their ways that they think we've been so bad to black people over the past 20 years. Black people have come a long way. People of color have gone a long way. Can we talk about Asian Americans? Asian Americans are like, hey, us too. Yeah, they were put in concentration camps after Pearl Harbor. Can we talk about the Irish that came over here under the potato famine? They migrated, immigrated over here the right way, and they were pretty much slaves to the fucking railroads. Can we talk about them? We could even talk about the Native Americans, what we did to them, the Trail of Tears. Google it, okay? American history is blemished, but to erase it is to forget about it. To not teach it is to forget about it. These people now are not entitled. If there was anybody that deserves any kind of reparation whatsoever, it would be possibly be the Native Americans, maybe, but let's put under the microscope the fact that they put, treaties and barters and agreements with the United States government. They did all this shit. And all this shit that you're throwing America under the fucking bus for, slavery and genocide, you don't think the Native Americans did this? You don't think the Africans did this to their own people? Do you think the Anglo-Saxons of Europe and Spain that went to Africa for the slave trade and traded them all over the fucking world, do you think they went into Africa and captured these African tribes by themselves? Or do you think these African tribes trapped other tribes and sold them to the East India English Trading Company for slavery? I can tell you right now that they didn't go into Africa and they met them on the coast, because they would have been diseased if they went into Africa, because there's a different immunity there than there is in Europe, than there is in America. Conquest is how the world fucking worked. We are not that. This America is not that America. When we wrote the Constitution, no, before that, fuck that. When we wrote the Declaration of Independence, we said that all men are created equal. And yes, it was gray. There was a gray area, so to speak. Black people, women, people of color, they were not included. Okay, fast forward. Civil rights, still not included. Segregation, Jim Crow laws. Civil rights movement, 1960s, now they're included. This is what Harriet Tubman wanted. This is what Frederick Douglass wanted. This is what Booker T. Washington wanted. This is what Martin Luther King and Malcolm X fucking wanted. Rosa Parks. We're there now. We are all privileged in our own way to pursue the American dream. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness applies to men, women, children, people of color. If there were fucking purple aliens here, they would be allowed in it too. I am done fighting with people that think that these protests that graduate to riots, arson, attacking the police is a good thing. This cancel culture shit. People aren't allowed to have their own opinion. We need to stop. Like I've said before, I'm drinking again. Hold on. We need to stop labeling groups and labeling individuals. If anyone's going to find the hateful and the ignorant and the stupid, it's going to be the friends of the ignorant and the racist and the stupid. fellow cops know more about their partners and their colleagues than society does. So if there is a hateful cop, if there is a power hungry cop that doesn't do their job the right way, why don't these individual cops throw their other cops under the bus or for reform or for some retraining or something like that? Can we not label all cops in general as bad? Defunding cops is a new concept, and it has caused New York to pretty much fucking burn. There was a man let me look it up. There was a man in Milwaukee, okay? And this man in Milwaukee by the name of, give me a second. Work on it. I got this. I could do this. All right. This man in Milwaukee, I'm sorry. His name was Bernell Trommel, okay? And this is from heavy.com. Bernell Trommel, a well-known black supporter of Donald Trump, because they do exist, believe it or not, who was a community fixture known for his publishing company and long conversations on religion and politics, often delivered from street corners while holding pro-Trump and other signs, was shot to death in Milwaukee, Wisconsin in broad fucking daylight. Trommel, 60, was gunned down on July 23rd, 2020, near the very spot where he gave a video interview a few hours before explaining why he supported Trump. Milwaukee police are seeking what they described as unknown suspects. The motive is not clear? Really? You don't think the motive is clear? He just gave an interview 3 hours before that for a pro-Trump thing, and he was gunned down in the street, and the motive is not clear. Okay, let the police do their job, whatever. The motive is not clear, including whether or not the slaying was tied to Trommel's political beliefs or Trump's support. Some news outlets gave the victim's name as Bernell Trommel, but he goes by Trommel on social media. The Wisconsin GOP is now calling for a federal investigation by the attorney into the shooting death because his well-known political activism and the possibility that his murder could be politically motivated. So that was on the 23rd. It's the 25th. Has anyone heard about any of this in the news? I'm going to guess no. Why? Because he was a Trump supporter. But why was he killed? Because he was making fucking waves. You know what's not making waves? Pizzagate, the pedophilia ring, Jeffrey Epstein, Ghislaine Maxwell, Hollywood. That's not making waves. Why is that making waves? I'm starting to think the media is bought and paid for. I've already said this a long fucking time ago. There are not journalists. Journalists don't fucking exist anymore. If we need fucking news, we need to go to social media and we need to go to our friends that know fucking no-name fucking ads or reports of random shit. Because CNN, MSNBC, ABC, CBS, they're all fucking biased as shit. Jim Acosta, Don Lemon, Rachel Maddow, fucking Wolf Blitzer, Anderson Cooper, all these people that you see, Andrew Cuomo, his brother Chris Cuomo, they call themselves journalists, but they are pretty much the recipient of an opinionated poll. And that poll, the only person that they're asking questions to is them and their opinion. They're selling as actual fucking news. These journalists are not coming out there anymore like, this is valid, I checked it with 2 sources. No. It's, I think this, I believe this shouldn't be okay because I. It has no reference to any source that makes any fucking sense whatsoever. So the media is bought and paid for. And meanwhile, a certain party is sitting on their heels watching the fucking world burn, and they're going to blame it on Trump. And even when Trump offers every fucking ounce within his being to help, these mayors, these governors, these states, these people, these movements say no. No. But when they cross that fucking line of dealing with federal shit, attacking federal buildings, and Trump steps in to set federal law enforcement there, that's fascism. That's attacking the people. That's going against the First Amendment right to protest. Come on, can we open up our eyes here? Okay, there is a Lexit movement, which is left exit movement. People on the left, Democrats exiting, that are voting for Trump. There's a Blexit movement, which is Black people exiting because they understand that people of color have been suppressed by Democratic politicians since fucking the Civil War. Look at these cities, look at these poor areas, and then show me a Republican mayor or a Republican governor that isn't taking care of people in these poorer cities. And if they're not being taken care of, are they illegal? Are they not illegal? Do they have a social security card? Are they there? Are they receivable for welfare or food stamps or social security or shit like that? Because the people that are struggling, the people that are shooting themselves in the fucking streets, because let's face it, okay? The statistical relevance of white versus black crime is rare as shit. White cops versus black people is rare as fucking shit. The crime that is happening is intra-racial, not interracial. Racial. White on white, black on black, color. You know, that's just how it is. You attack the people in your neighborhood. And these territory crimes, these crimes of I want this spot, gang crime. Unfortunately, it is people of color, but we cannot judge it based on people of color. We have to judge it on the system that put them in that place in the first place. Politicians, systematics, fucking schooling, jobs. These crime-ridden areas, south side of Chicago, for instance, they don't have businesses there because the crime is so fucking high. People can't work, so they fucking break into places, steal places, kill motherfuckers, sell drugs. We need to put more cops on the street. We need to make the streets safer. We need to put businesses in those areas. And those people that have gotten to the point of, I got to live by street code because there's no other way for me, will have other ways for them. They'll have extracurriculars, better schools, better funding for schools, boys and girls clubs, and other organizations that are willing to take them in and teach them past school. Single parent homes are a big thing in these impoverished societies. South side of Chicago, for instance, St. Louis, Portland, Seattle. And while those parents are working, single parents, more than not, the kids are going to get raised by the fucking streets. And when the kids are raised by the streets, it's going to be, how do you make money quick? What can I do to fucking make face? What can I do to move up in the ranks of this gang that I'm in? Because once you're in a gang, you're in. When you want to get out, you're a rat, or you get jumped, or you get beat out. But chances are, when you get beat out, you're going to fucking die. They got 10-year-olds because they know exactly how it fucking works. They know how the juvenile detention system works. They understand that if a 10-year-old kills a person, one, they don't know any better. They think they're doing the right thing. They think they're doing it for their fam or their gang or whatever. And the people that are pulling the fucking strings aren't liable because it was a fucking 10-year-old. And what happens to a 10-year-old? Goes to a juvenile detention center for fucking a couple years. Hopefully he get reformed and get the fuck right back out. And where does he go? Right back to the same fucking society that he was in the first place. So can we take care of these societies by putting these organizations in to take care of these kids? Give them better fucking funding, give them better fucking schooling, put more cops in the street, which would open up fucking businesses, and these kids could have another option besides fucking shooting people in the goddamn face. I'm tired of hearing 3-year-olds getting shot. Dan Bongino, for instance, he was like, he heard about a 3-year-old that got shot and he wanted to report about it on a news outlet. And he went to Google 3-year-old gets shot in Chicago. He didn't know which one it was because there was so fucking many of them. Do we understand now? Can we make a change now? Can we understand that this Antifa crowd is garbage? Can we understand that these fucking troublemakers are actually troublemakers and they're not fighting for a movement? This isn't a movement. Black Lives Matter isn't a movement. It's a fucking belief. It's a fucking something to live by. It's a people versus people thing, but it shouldn't be. It should be Black Lives Matter, obviously. It shouldn't be Black Lives Matter organization. Let's fund this neo-Marxist group so that they could put frozen fucking water bottles and shaved PVC pipe on the street and fucking fund Antifa. This is not the anarchy that we want. No one is saying Black lives do not matter. Black lives do matter. We as a people need to see through the veil of bullshit. And that's it. Can we do that? Is that possible? All right. That's it for me. Okay? I love you. And you love me. Now, tell your squad to follow my pod. And I'll see you guys next time. Okay? Bye.